Going to have a look at the newspapers now. Flo's here as well. A lot of focus, of course, on that Germanwings plane crash in the Alps. Flo, this article in the New York Times getting an awful lot of attention, claiming that one of the pilots locked out of the cockpit before the crash.
Absolutely. This is an incredible detail that's getting picked up across the press today. Let's take a look at that article. The New York Times quotes a senior military official who's involved in the investigation, and he says that there's evidence from the cockpit recorder that indicates that one of the pilots left before the plane descent and was unable to get back in. To quote the article, it says, the guy outside is knocking lightly on the door and there's no answer, and then he hits the door stronger and no answer. You can hear he's trying to smash the door down.
It's partly an incredible story because although it gives a little bit of insight, doesn't it, as to what happened, it also leaves open a whole raft of questions.
That's right. There's so many questions that are unanswered. Why did the pilot leave the cockpit? Why was he unable to get back in? You can see here the Independent on their front page. They're talking about more questions than answers right now. And investigators say that despite this breakthrough, it's really too early to draw any conclusions as to why the plane went down. You can see the Wall Street Journal on their front page. They're talking about how voices on the black box bode clues on the crash, but there are no answers yet. And of course, investigators are looking for the second black box.
Yeah, investigators at the crash scene continuing that search. We've been hearing in the last half hour, in fact, that they've started that once again. Meanwhile, the paper's still mourning as well the victims of the crash, Flo.
Absolutely. I pulled out a cartoon drawing, rather, that pays tribute to the victims today. It's in China Daily. You can see here this candle with the flight number there, but really across the press, lots of tributes today to the victims, the ones that we know of for now, at least.
Move on to another story, getting an awful lot of attention in the press today. Of course, that's Yemen. Last night, Saudi Arabia announcing it had launched an air assault in Yemen in an effort to restore the government of President Abdrabbuh Mansour Hadi. That's
right. You could read more about the details in the New York Times today. Now, the aim is to stop the advance of Shiite Houthi rebels who have overrun the capital and are challenging the president, the Western-backed president. Now, Saudi officials say they're part of a coalition of approximately 10 nations with logistical support from the U.S., but the other members of that coalition for now are unknown.
And also unknown, the whereabouts of the president.
That's right. The Independent talks about a president in peril. Now, some suggest that he has escaped from his regional stronghold of Aden by boat after he was run out of the capital, Sana'a, back in February. Houthi leaders have announced a $100,000 bounty for his arrest. Now, the situation is really, really tense right now. The Guardian says that not only does the president's fate remain unclear, that of the country as a whole is unclear, and it's very alarming today, The Guardian. It says that Yemen appears to be edging closer to an all-out civil war.
Yeah, many papers suggesting that this internal conflict in Yemen kind of degenerating really into a proxy war between all these different regional powers.
Absolutely. On the one hand, you've got regional Arab powers, especially Saudi Arabia, backing the president, and then on the other hand, you have Iran backing the Houthis, so quite a tense situation. All this leaves a vacuum, and you can read more about it in the Daily Beast, a vacuum for Islamist groups like Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula or the Islamic State group. You can see here it says, "Welcome to the new terror heartland," and the article says that America's ally Yemen is gone. The country was once described by President Barack Obama as a counterterrorism model. Well, now it's poised to be a playland for the Islamic State group and Al-Qaeda.
And finally, we're going to end with something a little bit lighter. Unless you're a fan, my daughter was in tears over this last night. The super successful band One Direction in crisis.
That's right. Are you sure it was your daughter?
It was my daughter, yeah.
A little bird told me that you went to the One Direction concert in Paris last week.
With my daughter, I hasten to add.
Last year, I mean.
Yeah.
Now, in case you haven't been on planet Earth for the last couple of years, this is One Direction. It's a music video just to show you. This is the British pop sensation, and fans across the world are really upset because one of the members is leaving. Zayn Malik, he says he wants to be a normal 22-year-old who's able to relax and have some private time. But keep in mind, it comes amid claims he cheated on his girlfriend. Yeah, that's him right there.
He's the best-looking one, apparently.
I think he is
According
the
to my
best-looking
daughter.
one. But this really provoked a shock wave on social media. There were more than 4,600 tweets a minute. And here in France, I thought this was quite silly. There was a hashtag, Je suis Zayn, that was trending at number 3. But Stuart, I know you're really upset about this, but don't worry. One Direction is going to live on as a 4-piece, and this for their forthcoming album and world tour. And I know you have tickets for that world tour.
Yeah, already got my name down. Already got my name. Thank you very much, Flo.